Volkswagen pulls up, a young Mexican lady. She jumps out of a car and runs up behind Officer Olson and taps him on the shoulder. And she says, "Sir," she said, I see what you got here. And she said, "But there's a man down on the corner." She said, "A woman and three guys just stabbed him. They jumped on him." And Officer Croy told me this, and Harry Olson admitted it. He said he turned to the woman and he said, "Look," he said, "we just had the President of the United States shot downtown about an hour ago." He said, "You see we got a fellow officer here." He said, "I don't give a damn about a son of a bitch getting stabbed." But Croy looked at Olson and said, "Hey man, you better go check it out. It could be connected to this." So when Croy said that to Olson, Olson jumped in his car, backed up, and went toward 10th and Marsalis. When he gets there, the car is gone, as Jimmy Holland said. And people ran over to the car and told him, said, "Man, they took off north. It was a blue Mercury, a Monterey." And instead of him going north toward where they said the car went, he went south.
Mike, you said that you had spoken to Officer Olson
Yes.
about this.
Oh, yeah.
Did he tell you that he did see the blood, although the car had already pulled away?
Saw the blood. He said that quite a bit of blood, and he said there's no doubt something had happened.
Well, I'm curious, did Olson indicate that that he thought it might be related to the Tippit murder?
Yes. And I asked him, I said, "Also Olson," I said, "Did you pick Lee Harvey Oswald up at the rooming house?" And he hesitated. He said, "Well, a lot of people followed orders that day." And I've told you that before. That's what he said. He said a lot of people followed orders that day. He said Oswald was following orders. When he said that, then I knew exactly what he meant. And Officer Hargis had summed it up years in his thoughts of it, and many other officers. Another question. Was Lee Harvey Oswald, and if he didn't shoot Officer Tippit, and the only reason he would have shot him, if the real Lee Harvey Oswald, who come out of Marguerite Oswald wound in 1939, if he shot Officer Tippit, the only reason he would have shot him is because Tippit was finna kill him, and he shot him in self-defense. He shot Tippit actually in self-defense. Or did the man impersonating Oswald shoot Officer Tippit?
I think you said that the man was walking, and when he saw the policeman, he tried to make a U-turn to walk away.
And I left that out. I'm
So
glad.
he's avoiding the policeman, but the policeman won't leave him alone.
The policeman won't leave him alone. I'm glad Brother Steve brought that up. Steve and I have talked about that, and some of the witnesses, as you know, said that Mr. Scoggins and Miss Lori said yes, the man did do a about face and started back east, and the Phillips girl said that Tippit tooted the horn, and then Oswald turned and they could see him becking for him. This is on 10th Street, not at the rooming house, right just before the shooting. And Oswald walks up to the right side of the squad car and bends down. The Phillips girl, the other two girls, the Phillips, not the Davis, and Domingo said that Oswald had and Miss Lori said had his hand in his pocket, in his jacket, and as he bent down, the very short conversation. Then when Tippit got out of the car, as he was getting out, the man in the white jacket backed up to the sidewalk. So it's just really hard to determine if Oswald. I say that I think Oswald could have done it on that merit only if he figured out that Tippit was going to kill him or thought he was. And you also must remember this: Tippit did not know that Oswald. And the other reason I give a little merit, Would the imposter know to go to the rooming house and get a pistol? Why would the imposter go to the rooming house? That's my problem. He wouldn't have no reason to go. I could see him going to the theater, the imposter, but I couldn't see, and the rooming house incident definitely happened. I could not see that, and that's another reason I believe that the real Lee Harvey Oswald, who was living at 1026 Beckley, went to his rooming house and got his gun. He panicked and was scared, and now that he has a gun, he feels, at least he feels protection. He's got a protection. Mr. Pulte, I know you've got to go.
Mike, I have one last thought or question. Someone in the neighborhood who I talked to years ago told me that he had heard that the person who shot Tippit just briefly ducked up the driveway, but it didn't help. Tippit stopped anyway, then he came back down to the sidewalk. Did you ever hear that?
There were two men who were bricking a house at the corner of, two houses from the corner of Denver and 10th.
Right.
Eddie Kinsey, Kinsey, was one of them. The other guy was Floyd. They said when they looked up, heard the shot, and they looked up. But just before, Mr. Kinsey said he saw the man in the white jacket stop, and he looked toward one of the houses to his left, as if to start up the sidewalk. But he didn't, because he started walking back toward them, which confirmed what Brother Steve was saying a while ago, and the other witnesses, that the man turned from walking west and started walking back east. But
And that is probably what that other person was thinking about when he said to me that he had heard that he ducked up
Yeah.
the driveway. It actually wasn't into the driveway.
it was a sidewalk,
turning,
the
changing
sidewalk
direction.
one, he was changing direction.
Well, yes, I do have to be going to another meeting, but let me...
Before Bill leaves also, I'd like to confirm that he can confirm this, because a man named Mac Pate told him, right after Tippit was shot, a young lady who had worked at the Dean's food store around the corner, her name was Julie. I've had several different last names. I hadn't been able to confirm. I don't know if Bill's ever, and of course I've told Steve this story several times. But I did confirm from several people who saw her, Miss Lori most definitely, as she got just about even with Scoggins' cab, she come on out in the middle of the street, she looked down and saw Officer Tippit. She had heard the shots, because she would have been about halfway to Scoggins' cab, or even a little closer. So when she heard the shot, she ran on up to the corner. She looked down the street and saw the officer, and they said, "You think Helen Markham was screaming?" They said this child just went berserk. She was very young, and she took off just flying down Patton going north. And Mac Pate, who had the barber shop down there, and some of the patrons saw her, and he ran out and I think and even stopped her, didn't he?
Yes, and Mr. Darnell, one of the barbers, went out and tried
Yeah.
to console her.
Yes, and they said she was just screaming, "That guy shot the policeman! He's running! And Miss Lori said she heard her. That's what she definitely said.
And Mike, I believe that Mr. Darnell was related to Linda Darnell.
But yes, the great actress,
believe, yeah, correct.
who was born in Dallas,
In Oak Cliff,
London, and she born in 1933, died in
But
65.
the way he described it, she was this young lady whose name was Julie was extremely hysterical.
Yes, most definitely, extremely.
hysterical. Yeah.
Another man that Brother Steve and you, Brother Bill, and I have all encountered, once all three of us together. Then Steve and I went, I think, twice, and then you and I went twice, who's still living, who was a very big part of this, is a guy named Warren Reynolds. And of course, in the time he said, "Oh, I'm not Warren Reynolds. He's not around. He's not here." But we all knew it was him. He won't. But he's still living and still in the car lot business till this very day. But February the 20th, in fact, it was the very day before Eddie Benavides was killed, Domingo Benavides' brother. Warren Reynolds was shot in the head and almost killed himself. But he had witnessed the flight of the gunman leaving the scene. And when he got to 10th and when he got to Patton and Jefferson, he said the man made a right, still had the gun in his hand, and he thought he went between the two big houses.
And I can add one piece of information. Mac Pate told me, because he knew Warren Reynolds very, very well.
Yes.
They used to have coffee together. Mac Pate told me that Reynolds said it was absolutely impossible for me to know